And if you haven't heard, band by Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I say it's Wednesday at 5 o'clock. No. Isn't it Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
I think it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I believe it's Wednesday. I don't know.
This is 13. Yeah,
I don't know what the 13th was. I have to look at my.
Wednesday through Saturday. No,
Yeah, but-
Thursday through Saturday.
Right, but you have to get your armband Wednesday, right? Okay, so get your armband on Wednesday. Just get your armband on Wednesday. It's a whole lot cheaper. Oh, we got new. Welcome, welcome. Early voting starts Monday, April 24th, continues through Tuesday, May 2nd at the Smithville Rec Center. Election day is Saturday, May 6th, 2023. The local candidate forum will be Tuesday, April the 11th at the Smithville Rec Center. Thank you for hosting this, Ashley. And then I'll re-announce them all at the end. Oh, we're getting close now. Oh, sorry, Susie. Susie at the chamber is hosting it at the rec center. Oh, we may have to pass the hat. Hey, can we borrow your hat, Robert? We'll pass the hat at the rec center to pay. What? Say it again. Hazard. Household hazardous. And where's it at?
109 Taylor Street.
Taylor? Oh, I got my mic on, sorry. Oh, and do you get the vouchers here at the city hall still? Voucher required. All right. If we keep asking, we'll get more. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon's annotated civil statute, Article 625217, that the city of Smithville will conduct a council meeting and public hearing on April 10th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at City Hall located at 317 Main Street, Smithville, Texas. I call the meeting to order. Councilman Gordon, will you lead us in invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Will you please bow your heads as I pray? Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of help we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Also, thank you for the freedom to embrace. Thank you for your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures, you've said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I'm asking that you would graciously grant to us wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in our lives, and joy in our task. I pray for the agenda set before us today. Please give us an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Smithville. It is in your most blessed name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Now we'll go to recognition, awards, proclamations, announcement, and presentation. And we have a presentation for the National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that requires police, fire, and emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of our police officers, our firefighters, our paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Smithville Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with an emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and our firefighters by monitoring their activity by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the city of Smithville have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and the treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during their performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Smithville, Texas declares the week of April 9th through April 15th, 2023 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Smithville in honor of the men and women who diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Thank you to all of you. Charity Rogers. There you go. We'll have a presentation from Charity Rogers on the mental health grant.
Better. Okay. All right. I'm Charity Rogers and I'm with the Smithville Community Clinic. Here. I don't know. In January 2022, we were awarded a portion of the ARPA grant. And we have come to the end of that budget, and that's why I'm here today to explain what we use that $95,000 for. When we started, we had 7 goals, and I can say that we have met and exceeded all of those goals. We have, in the last year and 4 months, since January of 22, we've conducted 2,700, over 2,700 counseling sessions. That includes all of the work we've done. I'll break down what this grant paid for later. So we have, our first goal was family sessions, which we will help families create healthy childhood environments by decreasing substance use and increasing the overall mental health of the adults who care for children. With this money, we were able to assist many families in assisting with developmental challenges with their children. We also came in and helped with serious mental health issues, helping the families to find coping measures and make referrals for hospitalization as needed. Unfortunately, sometimes families, divorce becomes necessary. Not my favorite part of my job, but assisting those who end up going through divorce and helping them to maintain their own personal mental health has been a focus on this grant as well. And again, sadly, we did that well. Crisis intervention by partnering with local law enforcement, Bluebonnet Trails, the Children's Advocacy Center, local schools, and other agencies who may need refer clients to our team. We've worked with Family Crisis Center, Bluebonnet, and many other agencies in the Bastrop County area and also surrounding counties. We did engage with the Smithville Police Department in a Smithville Whole Health Partnership where we discussed what our community response needs to be when we engage with someone who is in obvious need of mental health or addictions counseling. Our biggest referral agency has been Bluebonnet Trails. We definitely get a lot of referrals from them, and we like to see ourselves as kind of the step down approach from Bluebonnet. They take the more crisis intervention, more suicidal patients, and we are there to help people not get quite that far. Yeah. Specific groups and sessions aimed at addressing substance use disorder. That has been a big focus for us this year. We've increased our providers. We are bringing on a new provider this summer as well. Let's see, we've doubled our substance use services. A success story, and of course, all identifying information has been taken out of here, but I think it's important for you guys to hear not just a bunch of numbers and, knowing that we did well with the budget and all of that, but I want you to hear that these are real people in real lives. So a client presented with severe alcoholism, and the client had endured all of their adult life. Client was contemplative about quitting, but wasn't quite ready to stop just yet. My experience, most of us know that person. Most of us have that person in our lives that they know there's a problem, but they just don't know how to stop. Through coaching, this client set a quit date. So again, not quite ready, but knew they needed to. So they set a date and started tapering down their drinking. So our coach was able to check in with them throughout the week, and they set specific goals for each day and was able to taper down. And I'm happy to say that they are clean and sober for many, many months now. The person reports more clarity, sleeping better, and is working more consistently. And I will tell you that most of our clients who enter our addictions programming, for most of them, that is their story. Our fourth goal was to increase equity by treating depression, anxiety, and other disorders, which can lead to a lack of ability to obtain the skills needed to maintain a job. And I'll say that all of our counseling sessions focus in some part on how's your vocational life. But after reviewing everyone we talked to this last year, at least 10 individuals, that was the focus. They really needed to make a change in their career and their job. Vocation counseling sessions address resume building, motivation to apply to various jobs, and assistance with job interviewing skills. In these sessions, we also address thoughts and beliefs that held the client back from feeling confident and knowledgeable. Most of what I hear is, I don't think I can do that. And with a little bit of motivation and encouragement, they take that step and then they take the next step. And I have one client in mind that she's doing phenomenal in her new career instead of just job after job after job. Our fifth goal was monthly behavioral health focus groups that should increase awareness of behavioral health services we provide and decrease the stigma of asking for help. We actually are having weekly groups instead of monthly. We have a couple of interns running some groups, and they're having really good success. One of them is assertive communication skills, and the other one is re-nesting, grandparents raising grandchildren. So that find themselves taking care of grandkids and they're later in life, and that's not what you planned for, that group is for you. Goal number 6, with these funds and other contributions, we will increase our capacity by 70%. Okay, I'll repeat. You can hear me? All right. All right, so with goal number 6, with these funds and other contributions, we will increase our capacity by 70%. As a result of these funds, we more than doubled our capacity over this last year. We did this by engaging more interns and increasing our marketing efforts. So we're focusing more on supervising students and interns. From my, when I applied for this grant, there was information on there about how Texas ranks, I think it's 49th in the number of LPCs available within our state. So our focus now is in bringing in LPC students and interns so that we can help grow them and hopefully not be so low on that list in Texas. That's not a number to be proud of for sure. We wanted to provide 1,462 clinical hours to our community's needs. We exceeded that goal, and with these funds alone, we're able to provide 1,547 hours of behavioral health services. Again, that's by incorporating interns and students into our program. So that is the information I have. Like I said, we had those 7 goals. I feel like we exceeded those 7 goals. And we just want to thank you for allowing us to partake in that ARPA funding and invite you to include us in any other funding you might have later on. Do you have any questions? I think the copy you guys had was the draft version. So I will make sure, Janice, you can pass on the final version. There was a couple of edits. Any
questions? Okay. I read through, this report, and then each month when Janice provides a report on the clinic, obviously mental health, I think everyone would agree, it's become increasingly important in our community for a variety of reasons. But this is 2022, it was 95,000. What is the plans for 2023? Are there funding goals that you have or that have already been met? Can you help us understand what your needs are?
So we're going to make it work. Okay. We do have St. David's, which is the other. So really with the ARPA and St. David's is really what got us through 2022. We also have CVS has a small grant that we had been using as well. With losing this, we are focusing more of our efforts on students and interns because they don't cost as much. And we are able to with St. David's, do some supervision, and then the rest is going to be a lot of volunteer. So we would like to keep our capacity where it's at. Everyone on my team wants to grow their numbers rather than decrease, but unfortunately, some of our licensed providers will have to decrease and grow their private practice. So that means charging clients. So like I said, we're making it work, but we're definitely interested in any other funding possibility.
You know, you had a performance that exceeded all of your targets and your goals. You're trying to maintain that for 2023, although it's going to be challenging. So if you were to maintain exactly where you did last year, do you have the funding in place today to be able to do that?
We'll get close. We're not, well, it's a tricky question because a lot of what happened is we took our licensed providers is growing their private practice. So now we are charging clients, but it is at a significant decreased rate, like we as
Is
private
it on a sliding,
practice.
like a sliding scale?
Right. But even lower than what most places are. But we can't count those as clinic hours because we're stepping away from the clinic. So like our licensed provider where they were working 12 to 15 hours, they're now at 3.
So does any of your activities interface with students in the school district, or does the school district have all their own mental health funding mechanisms and professionals, or is there any crossover?
We are open to seeing students, and we have had meetings where we made that known. There was talk of us coming into the school, but that just never happened. And I'll say we also got really busy working with parents and adults. But that's always something we're interested in doing, and we can find people that are dedicated to going to the school. We just need to. It seemed like there was some red tape that just needed to get cut down.
Not any longer than necessary, but I mean, these are difficult things to talk about when you start talking about mental health issues. We all have heard, I know for me, anytime I hear about a suicide or a reported suicide, it just breaks my heart because of the permanency of suicide. No matter what's going on, that just seems like an unacceptable way to deal with the situation because it's permanent. Obviously, that's probably one of the most dramatic forms of mental health and intervention that we could do. It seems to me that there's been 2 or 3 of them maybe in the last, there may have been more than that. It just seems to me like I remember a couple or 3. I know they found a lady over in Bastrop County not too long ago that may have had ties to Smithfield, and we've had some tragic incidents actually here in town or just outside of town. So when we talk about mental health funding, you know, I just want you to make sure we may not always be able to help or to the extent that you want, but we need to be aware of what your needs are, because I know I attend the hospital authority board meetings, and we have medical providers, whether it's Ascension or St. David's or other people that have mandates to help provide certain levels of care. And if we can match some of a modest amount of funding and encourage them through our relationships to help us, I think that would be something that we ought to try to do as a council, is use whatever relationships we have to leverage that to make sure you get the funding you need.
We'd appreciate it.
Mayor, I just want to make a comment. Charity's been with us now
2019.
long time. Anyway, she's been doing a fantastic job, her and her team. But one of the things that we do at the clinic is we screen every patient. And so it's called social determinants of health. And out of the 500 that we've screened, the 2 top priorities that come out of those screenings is mental health and dental care. So we continue to focus on going for grants that focus on those 2 areas. Of course, the third one's pay my utilities. But other than that, it's mental health and dental. And Charity just recently applied for a grant through the state of Texas, and we'll find out something this week. It's a little bit different type of grant through the Department of Justice. And then St. David's has just been really wonderful. And AmeriCares also supported the clinic back in 2019, 2020. So there are grants out there, and she, as the director right now, is constantly looking for funding to support our mental health needs in the city of Smithville.
So to piggyback off of what you're saying is there are grants and we are applying to them. What I'm finding though is they're very specific. Like the one you're talking about is we would only be able to see parolees and their spouses. We applied for a veterans grant. We've applied. So a lot of what we're seeing right now is very specific. What I think if there was anything that you guys could help with is there's those general, any age, any issue type monies that could be paid for those clients that they don't have that service anywhere else.
Or is like when you apply for grants, is it like stated to service like the state of Texas or just Bastrop County or the city of Smithville? I mean, how far are the patients that come to see you? I mean, how far do we reach out to?
So it depends on the grant. Some grants are very specific and others are not. As a clinic, we have said we can see people from all over Texas because that's what we're licensed for. So like, I don't think St. David's has any limitations on area. We do have a few people that were referred by somebody's friend or whoever had come to us. So we have a couple of patients out of Houston and we had some referrals from another clinic out of Houston and San Marcos. So we like to partner with the other clinics. They provide psychiatric services and we provide the therapy services. So we do have just a handful of people outside of our Bastrop County. But yeah, it really depends on just the way the grant's written up. Some are very specific, some are not.
I think Tom had some really great questions and I know that this is a need. And especially for our citizens here in Smithville, we need to take care of our surrounding areas. And I feel there are a lot of grandparents that are taking care of their grandkids that they need help too. So I'm glad to hear that we're servicing our Smithville and surrounding areas
For sure.
with the grants and stuff that we got, because it is a big world out there and it is scary. So I'm happy to hear that we are taking care of our people here.
Without a formal report, I think most of I would say 90% of our clients are Smithville and Bastrop. And then the rest are just sprinkled here and there. All right, thank you. Thank you.
The update on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, council, mayor and citizens, I know this has been a topic of great interest over the past couple of months, 6 months. So I thought I'd give you an update. This was included in my March report, but some additional things have happened since, and I'm going to brief you on those now. This money was tied to Hurricane Harvey back in 2017, and it's a mouthful. It's the General Land Office Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Resilient Communities Program. So that's GLO CDBG MIT RCP. We applied for a $300,000 grant to allow us to do a comprehensive plan. Since then, our grant management company is Langford Community Management Services. They selected a company called KU and Associates, a very talented firm that will get here eventually, but with a lot of grants, there is bureaucracy. Smithville was one of the first entities to apply for this $300,000 grant, and no one to date has received any money. Okay, so I know folks are aggravated by that, but this is where we are. I have since sent a letter to Mark Havens. He is the deputy land officer, asking, hey, please, we appreciate the money, but can you speed it up a little? Because I want to be alive by the time we do a comprehensive plan. So all kidding aside, that's where we are. This information is contained on the city website under the development programs. And I think, yeah, you really can't read it back in the back. But everything that you want to know about our comprehensive plan in the past and going forward is available on the website. It'll take you to the grant process, the requests for proposals, the timelines and deliverables, and hopefully a start date. Once we get the funds, it'll take 18 to 24 months to complete the process, which will include many stakeholder and community input events. So that's the update. Any questions?
Thank you, Robert. And I know everyone is looking forward to hearing that it's taken off. So eventually the comprehensive plan will take shape. I feel that way. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from March 13, 2023, council meeting and public hearing, the economic development workshop on March 14, 2023, and the special call council meeting on March 23rd, 2023. Any question? Yes, go ahead, please.
And it may be that I printed my package out wrong, but I just want to be clear on the meeting for March 13th, where we had recommendations, a variety of recommendations from planning and zoning on property at 205 Northeast Second
Okay.
Street. Were these all noted in the minutes as being approved?
I don't think we had any that were not, did we?
Well, there was, you remember, this was the meeting where we had a number that had recommendations for approval and a couple that had no recommendation from P and Z. And we had some discussion about why we didn't have a recommendation. But I'm looking through the minutes, and unless I missed it,
Mine says no recommendation by P and Z.
but where's, in the minutes, where's the action on those items?
I think she just put no recommendation by P and Z beside it. No?
Well, these are the minutes from the meeting, the planning and zoning that were presented to us. Chairman Rewe gave his normal
not see it?
presentation.
Is it not on here?
I don't think they're in here. I don't think the notes. Okay.
Is this not what you're,
Yeah, I think, I'm just wondering if maybe I didn't print all the pages because they're not numbered. And so I don't know if maybe I just can't, in my 3 pages, I can't find the action on the 205 Northeast Second Street items. Does anybody else have it in there? Yeah, we just have 3 pages. So could we
Okay,
get it
so
on-
yeah, we can let the minutes reflect that they're approved with the caveat that you include the actions that we're taking, because you did take action on each of these.
Well, I know that, but is it up here? Okay, so it's not even up there. You're missing one on this one.
okay, so then what do you have? What do you have? I thought that was what, no? No. That's what he
Yeah,
has
I
too.
think we're missing a page. I think it just didn't scan when she did it. It probably is the same case for what was out on the website, right? So should we approve the minutes that are presented and then approve the items that are excluded at the next meeting, or what do you want to do? What do you think we ought to do? Yeah. Okay, because it's hard to approve minutes where we don't have copies of the minutes. Even if it was on the screen, I think we'd be comfortable doing it, but we don't have anything to look at to say what it says. If you can put it on the screen, I think that would be fine. Do you want me to, let me ask the mayor, do you want me to make a motion to
What do-
approve excluding that?
What do we do? I don't know what to do in a situation like this. What's gonna make it correct? What will,
I can do it. I mean, I can make the
Perfect.
motion, yeah.
and then we'll,
Yeah. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes as they're presented on the 3 pages in our packet, and that we reserve the right to approve the 4th missing page at the next council meeting.
perfect. Second? All in favor? 1, 2. It's approved. Okay, so then. Page 4 will be on the next.
Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes from the Economic Development Workshop on March 14th, 2023, and the special call council meeting on March 23, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion has been made in second. All in favor? 1, 2. Approved. Next item on the agenda is discussion and action on acceptance of Councilwoman Barrientos' resignation from the city council. I think she has prepared a statement. Would you want to go ahead and share that? Councilwoman Barrientos?
Well, that one wouldn't hold. It was the broken one. Alrighty. Hi, everyone. I wanted to say a few words about me resigning early for my position as city council member place 4. Last year when I ran, I was pregnant with my 3rd child. When he was born, the 6 months after couldn't have been anticipated. Eli was born with 2 heart defects and had to have heart surgery at 3 days old and was required to be on medicine every 6 hours after. Around September, things started to get bad, and with the help from my husband, I realized how much I was struggling. The things I used to enjoy became a chore, and the things I loved, I started doing less of. In October, I was diagnosed with clinical depression and started my own personal journey with my mental health. Depression is personal, and it has so many ups and downs. I have a therapist and a psychiatrist, and I'm so thankful for each of them. I have worked so hard and overcome so many things over the last 6 months to become a better me, a better mom, a better wife, a better child of God, a better business owner. At this moment in this season, city council has now become a chore, and I have no more joy being in this position. How is that fair to me? How is that fair to the citizens of Smithville I'm supposed to be a voice for? Joy is fundamental to health. In addition to joy, a large part of my mental health journey is setting boundaries, and one of those boundaries is stepping down from city council. My kids, my husband, my family, and my business deserve my whole self, deserve a joyful me. Most importantly, I deserve a joyful me. The last few months in this position have been very taxing for many reasons. I have been let down, surprised, and deeply saddened by events, people's actions, and their agendas during this time. So for my children, my husband, my family, I choose me. For anyone that has or is struggling, know you can choose yourself and you should. Lastly, I would like to leave you with this. Remember, God is greater than all the highs and the lows. So thank you, citizens, for allowing me to serve this city for roughly 3.5 of the last 5 years.
The city of Smithville would like to present a plaque to Cassie Barrientos, Councilwoman Barrientos, presenting an appreciation for the years of service as council member to the city of Smithville.
Thank you, Cassie.
Mayor, would you like a motion?
Yes, we need one. Thank you.
Mayor, I move that the city council accept the resignation of council member Cassie Barrientos, noting on behalf of her colleagues and the citizens our appreciation for her service. Further, that the council take up deliberations of an appointment to fill her seat at the next scheduled meeting on the 15th. At that time, the council will have 2 new council members and the benefit of election results.
Very good. Motion has been made and second. All in favor? Approved. Now we'll have hearing and recommendations from planning and zoning. Thank you, Mr. Wee. Oh, I hope I get the other one.
Sitting with the non-functioning mic at some point. Hi. I'm here to report on actions taken at the planning and zoning meeting of last week on Tuesday, April 4th. It's a rather straightforward situation. Is an application for a minor replat combining 2 lots into 1 lot at 501 Marburger Street, Burn Addition, Block 103, Lot 9 and Lot 10. Property ID 16724, property owner Jamie Kadlachek. You have there on the overhead screen, it is two lots that are conforming size lots. They want to combine it into 1 lot and build a structure or home. which without the replanting would be crossing the property lines of the two lots. It's consistent, consistent with the neighborhood, in that block and adjacent blocks. Several, couple, 3 or 4 houses are on larger lots or combined lots already. So it's, it results in a conforming lot and conforms with the neighborhood. Planning and zoning recommends the, city council adopt the replatting. Bill, it was unanimous. All right, thank you.
I will close the open meeting and go into the public hearing. Call to order. Jennifer, did anybody sign up to speak? Okay, a minor replat combining 2 lots into one at 501 Marlberger Street, Burn Addition, Block 103, Lot 9 and Lot 10, property ID 16724, property owner Jamie Kolacek.
Make a motion.
Oh, that was public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, then I need to adjourn here. Okay, I got too fast. Sorry about that. Adjourn here. I gotta turn my pages faster. And now we go back into the open meeting. Okay. And we didn't have anybody signed up to speak. Jamie, did you want to speak? Cool. Thank you for being here. And then back into the. Do I need to hit the gavel?
You already did.
Okay, now back into the, okay, now I'm on my foot. All right, so a minor, we're back into the open meeting. A minor replat combining 2 lots into one at 501 Marlberger Street, Burn Addition, Block 103, Lot 9 and Lot 10, property ID 16724, property owner Jamie Kolacek. Any questions?
Okay, now, Mayor,
Oh, now I'm at the right spot.
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the minor replat combining the 2 lots into one at 501 Marlberger Street, Burn Addition, Block 103, Lot 9 and Lot 10, property ID 16724, property owner Jamie Kolacek.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and second. All in favor? Motion is approved. We look forward to seeing your new home. Item number 12, discussion and action on annual audit for the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget.
Okay, Council and Mayor, we received a late notice today, like at 4 o'clock, that Jack Clark had an emergency issue whereby he could not present the 21-22 fiscal audit report. As such, this will be pushed to the May 15th council meeting. So there'll be no action, correct?
There'll be no action. It'll be pushed up to the May 15th, and then we'll take action at that city council meeting. So on to number 13, discussion and action on renewing an agreement between the city of Smithville and PHI Air Medical to provide air ambulance service to the citizens of Smithville.
Okay, Council and Mayor, this is something we entered into about 3 years ago with PHI Air Ambulance. If you've ever had the pleasure of riding in an air ambulance, if you survive it, you won't survive the bill. Typically in the urban areas, that flight is $10,000. From Smithville to Austin, it's $40,000 or $50,000. Excuse me. And that's a cost that can be avoided by the city entering into this agreement. Last year, we had 11 medical air transports and 11 that were paid for because the city has entered into this contract. Basically, the city will pay $12,411 for 1,773 households. Everyone in your household is covered under this plan in Bastrop County. They do offer, and PHI has negotiated a lower rate if you want to buy up to the national plan. It used to be $45 per year per household. Now it's $30 per year per household. So this is a great benefit for our citizens. It's another motivator for people to annex and
Come on.
had to
then.
do it.
Yeah.
If you do
Gotta get
decide to approve this contract, it'll be current through April 30th, 2024. Questions?
Robert, in the general terms and conditions, it talks about eligibility and availability. Medicaid patients are not eligible for membership in the PHI Cares program. Can you address that?
Yes, they do.
They do have a clause, Medicaid, Medicare, that you'll work through and you'll get credit for that. This has come up in the past.
Has it? Okay.
Yes. And again, availability, I've been working with the hospital authority, I'm sorry, Jace. There are 2 ambulance services and they have a choice. And I've talked to Seton and they're going to try when they can to have PHI Air be the provider of choice. Okay. And the last thing I have, if this is approved, everyone will have a group number and a card that's available at City Hall. Unless you have it tattooed, it's not intuitive to the person, the responder that is putting you in the helicopter, that you would prefer PHI Air. So it's something you need to remember. Carry it with you in your wallet. And if not, you can call and we have a list of people who qualify by address. That's the 1,773 households that I referenced. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, I move that we renew the agreement between the city of Smithville and PHI Air Medical to provide air ambulance service to the citizens of Smithville during the coming year at the proposed annual fee of $12,411.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and second. All in favor? Approved. Discussion and action on awarding the airport hay contract. I bet everybody doesn't find this on their agendas.
Okay, Council and Mayor, this is something that we've done since the airport was open. We either have to find somebody to mow it or do something with the hay contract, which is what we have done. This is a 2-year contract whereby the consultant or contractor pays the city for the exclusive right to cut and bale hay. When you're not cutting or baling hay, they're responsible for keeping the grounds mowed. And this is not the detailed mowing that you do around the hangars. This is mowing the 8 acres that's left when you take away the airport landing, the airstrip and the ramp and so forth and such. We went out for a proposal and 2 contractors submitted their bids. One was John Batter's Farm and Ranching Services and the other was Herta Cattle Company. Mr. Batter submitted a bid for $2,100 per year. Herta Cattle Company submitted a bid for $6,053 per year. Again, this is the consultant paying the city for the exclusive rights to cut and bale hay. So it's my recommendation that you award the contract to the Herta Cattle Company.
Motion? Any questions or? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we award the airport hay contract to Herta Cattle Company based on their bid of $6,053 per year.
A motion that has been made and second. All in favor? Motion approved. Number 15, discussion and action on replacing Faith Franklin on the Historical Preservation and Design Standards Board with Leroy Behrens.
Council and Mayor, Faith Franklin has decided to step down and has recommended a replacement of Mr. Leroy Behrens. The application to apply for a city board was not in your packets, but Mr. Behrens is the president of the Smithville Heritage Society and is highly recommended. In this 9-member board, there are 6 at-large members and 3 members that are picked from the Heritage Society, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Cultural District. Mr. Behrens would be replacing a representative from the Heritage Society. Do you have any questions? Want to thank Faith for her service on the committee.
Definitely. Okay. You okay?
Make a motion by approving, I guess, Faith Franklin's resignation and replacing Faith Franklin on the Historic Preservation and Design Standards Board with Leroy Behrens.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion approved. Mr. Barron, you want to introduce yourself? He's right here. Well, I look forward to seeing you at many, many meetings. And thank you for everything you do for the Historical Society too. I know you're always busy there. Well, good thing you found out 5 minutes before, not 5 minutes after, huh?
I've just been informed that we have been awarded a grant through LCRA to paint and refurbish the house. Now we are still going to be trying to get a fundraiser going to come up with the rest of the money. And like I said, we've been working around with trying to get everything going on the house and in the archives and preserve this records for the city of Smithville. Okay. All right, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is discussion and action on the ordinance amending Article 3.04 floodplain management.
Okay, Council and Mayor, this is something that the state legislation requires a city to adopt. So we have to amend our floodplain management ordinance to reflect the new floodplain maps, FEMA maps from the Atlas 14 data. And this is required so that everyone can be eligible to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. This has to be adopted, the amendment, by May 9th, 2023. And we do have copies of the maps available for you online and in person. Questions?
Mayor, I don't know that I have direct questions related to this, this item, but it's kind of related in that it involves flooding. And Robert and I talked a lot over the last few days. As everybody here knows and online knows, 2nd Street and the Olive area floods every time we get any kind of rain. And I'm on Steve Simmons' speed dial, as I'm sure others are, with regards to the flooding that happens at Honey's. I think the city is committed. There are some possible hangups with regards to getting the grants released, but I really want the council to, when I read through this, and I know this may not have to do with this, but I read, floodplain management has to do with minimizing prolonged business interruptions, maintaining a stable tax base. Our businesses that are subjected to flooding issues that we can do something about, we should do it. And I think we should do it as expeditiously as we can. And I'm not suggesting we're not, but I really think Robert's trying to get some decoupling of some of the conditions that were tied to that grant, which have held up some of the improvements. I think he may, I don't know if you want to share anything, but you do have some promising prospects that might allow that drainage project and affecting that to go forward a little quicker than you thought. So
I'll make a couple of brief comments. There are 4 projects that were lumped into a $13 million GLO grant. GLO has stated that you must perform the environmental clearance on all 4 at once. And I'm arguing that the projects, although are flood mitigation, the outfalls go to different tributaries. 2 of the projects, actually 3 of the projects go to Willows, and the 2nd Street project goes to Gasly. So if I can decouple that requirement, we can start a lot sooner on the 2nd Street and Main Street issue, that from 95 back to Gresham. And so that's what I'm working on currently. And the holdup is that the detention or the regional detention ponds that we're trying to put in, no one wants to sell us the land. And those that do, they want a bunch of money for it. And when the grant was awarded, that was before the real estate bubble. So we have limited resources for property acquisition. So we're doing negotiation, moving around, but if I can decouple the Second Street project from the others, we can take care of not only Mr. Simmons, but everyone else who floods along Second Street back to Gresham.
Just, I think Honey's and our other businesses downtown provide valuable services to all of us. They employ, employees, people rely on them for their jobs. So I don't want to single that business out exclusively, but it's just one that tends to be, consistently impacted when we have flooding, and there's a plan to fix all that. And it looks like it might be getting a little bit closer, sneaking up on it. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Robert. If you want a motion on this, I'd be glad to do it while I've got the mic on. I move that we approve the amendment to the Smithville Ordinance Article 3.04 floodplain management to reflect the new floodplain map.
Now second.
Made and second, all in favor? Approved. Guess what, Cynthia? Discussion and action on approval of the financial report.
Okay, you should have in your packets the March financial statement. We're halfway through the year. And as you can see, our revenues are at approximately 54% of our $14 million budget. A little bit better than where we're at. General fund, again, still looks really good. It's going to start going a little bit the other way now because we've collected a lot of our revenue on that side. So, and hopefully our utility fund is going to start turning around as we start collecting more revenue on that side. Kind of the way it flows every year. I don't know if y'all have any questions on it. Our reserves look actually good on the general and on the utility side. So,
Questions for Robert. Reference to the bleachers at the rec center. Is that coming out of Parks and Recreation or was that coming out of some other funding? The bleachers, the ARPA, okay. We haven't done that yet.
It's pending. We had to get 3 bids and we got a low bid, so
Okay,
49 versus the 55,000 that was budgeted.
okay. Thank you.
I sent some questions to you earlier and I appreciate the answers. One, with rising interest rate environment, we talked about this last meeting and you followed up. As our CDs and our liquid assets that are in fixed instruments mature, they're at lower rates. We're having an opportunity now to get a little bit more yield. You had them at First National. Robert's response earlier was that you've shifted some of those into a different repository or a different fund mechanism that gets us a higher return.
well, our CDs are actually at First National Bank.
Okay, so we have some short-term maturities because I remember seeing we've got some maturities that are happening this year that probably are at lower
Yeah,
rates.
we've had some that are renewing and they are definitely coming in at a higher interest rate now.
Okay, so my question earlier and tonight is, what is the process that we utilize? Do we just automatically go with whatever First National tells us they're due, or are we shopping a little bit to make sure? Because there's a big difference in the market today if you shop these CD rates. I know there's other considerations besides just pure yield. We have relationships to protect, but I'm just curious as to what the process is. Do we go out and at least investigate and get some quotes for what other CD rates are in the region or the area, or do we just go with best they'll renew at?
Take that one. Yes, we like, as you said, those relationships, and typically we don't shop. And by the time you start shopping or create an RFP for moving these CDs over, the rates have either come down. Not saying we shouldn't do it. It's something we can definitely look into, but right now we're stuck at First National. Not stuck. That was the wrong word.
They've just been at First National because that's our bank that we've have our contracts with and that.
Yeah,
And
and
some of them at a better rate, as they're renewing. We got the various ones are at different rates, different lengths of terms have better rates. I
Of course,
noticed that
of course.
several of them have
And
actually
and I
improved.
don't want to diminish the intangible value that goes with the relationship,
Right.
but I will tell you, Oftentimes, if you have multiple services with an institution, that has profitability and value tied to it, and oftentimes they should be willing to give you a really competitive rate if they're getting other services that are fee-driven
And
services from.
they do kind of per the contract,
I-
they give us a little bit like a.
I would just encourage the city manager and you, Cynthia, to at least periodically check the broader market to make sure it's, kind of keeping everybody honest, just making sure we understand what the variance is, if there is one, between what we're getting quoted at First National or whoever our existing ones are. It's not just First National. Just make sure we're staying close to the market, not just take whatever they give to us without checking. Because right now there is a pretty big variance. There's a lot of banks, that are trying to attract deposits. And they're raising, and they're all insured up to, the insured level. So I would just encourage us to do that. We owe that to the citizens to make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck.
Other question. I might have asked this last time, but under miscellaneous sales and revenues, I noticed that we're at 110%. Was that to do with some insurance that we got?
On,
Page 4 on revenues, insurance recovery. I think you might have covered that last time. You had
trying to
budgeted
remember off the
27,
top of hand, I know we've had some insurance,
come back to us.
that's come back for
Okay.
damage, property damage.
Yeah,
I know
that's what you had
part of
said.
it. I don't
Okay.
recall right off
And
the top of my
then-
head on the miscellaneous.
One other question. I noticed on the utilities, we had talked about, we're going to start charging folks and everything. So we're at about 20% of people that can't pay of our electric customers. How's that going right now with our electric folks?
I think, they're starting to
Yeah.
let everybody know that, hey,
Okay.
it's coming and if you don't pay, we'll be turning you off kind of thing.
Yes, announcements have gone out regarding the June 1st deadline to get right with the utility company. And we've seen an improvement of that over the past 2 months. We hope it continues through, the summer.
Edwards here, I know that one of the questions I had to do with recycle revenue being at 19% versus being 50-something%. Robert said that you were going to be doing some investigating as to why those sales are low. That's fair enough. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate it.
Approval of the financial report as written.
I'll second.
Again, testimony on HB 3723 Rural Workforce Grant Program is Tuesday, April the 11th at the Texas Capitol. That's from Janice Bruno. If you have any other questions. Local candidate forum is Tuesday, April the 11th at the Recreational Center, but the chamber is hosting it. Smithfield Jamboree, get your armbands before Wednesday, and I know I'm safe there. Jamboree is April 13th through the 15th at Riverbend Park. Early voting starts Monday, April 24th and continues through Tuesday, May 2nd at the Smithfield Recreation Center. Election day is Saturday, May 6th, 2023. Appraisal District presentation, questions and answers is Tuesday, April 25th at the Smithfield Rec Center. It starts at 6. And household hazardous waste will be taken in on Saturday from 9 to 12 over on Taylor Street. And you need to get a voucher from the city in order to participate. Okay, anything else? I'll see y'all at Jamboree. Meeting is adjourned.